855. We'll have open phones. But for the first part of this hour, we're going to talk to State Representative Bill G. Schuette. And I'm never quite sure what to call him. I can call him Representative Schuette. I can call him Representative Bill Schuette. I can call him Representative Bill G. Schuette. And what I've settled on is from now on, I think, Bill, I'm just going to call you G to separate you from your dad.
Art, you can call me anything but late for dinner, as I would used to say. But you're a friend. You can always call me, Bill by the first name, or G works for me.
Or Bill G. Maybe that's what I need to do.
Yeah, whatever works.
So I have to ask, and we've talked about it before, but we do have a state budget. And one of the things you accomplished in that budget, you got some money for the Midland flood resiliency efforts that your dad's involved in. And you got some money, I understand, for the Four Lakes Task Force for the dams and lakes. How much and what's the money for?
Well, thank you, Art, and you're right. We did have a budget that I think was an important, collaborative effort to provide value for the Michigan payers' tax dollars. And the two things that I'm very proud of that were included in the budget that are especially impactful for Mid-Michigan is $10 million for flood reduction infrastructure in the city of Midland and $9.8 million towards the Four Lakes Task Force to reduce the cost of special assessments for those dams. And I tell you what, Art, it's so important because we all remember 2020, right? We remember downtown Midland being, underwater, and so many of those homeowners on Sanford, Wixom, Secord Lake, they saw their properties devastated, their property values plummet with the loss of these dams and with the loss of the lakes. So we need to rebuild the dams. We need to bring back the lakes. And it's an effort that I've been working on since day one, since I was elected. And, we didn't, legislating and being effective is an incremental progress. You don't always get everything at one bite of the apple, but I'm really proud of the significant progress we made towards both of those efforts.
Okay, why 9.8? Why not get the extra 200,000 and call it 10 million for the dams?
I wish it could have been a full 10. I wish it could have been 40. But you got to take what you can get. And it's the state has to balance our budget. We're not like the we're not like the federal government where we can just say we're going to do nice round numbers and run up a deficit. We had to have a balanced budget. So. And these balanced budgets come down to the last decimal point. So, I'll take 9.8 over 0, and I'll keep working to get more.
The 9.8 now, will that help the property owners that recently were notified of their assessment? Will that help to reduce that?
Yes. So, we've been working collaboratively with the Four Lakes Task Force and with our representatives in Congress, John Molinar, who's a good friend and does a great job of representing much of the Four Lakes area as well. We both secured money in the state budget and in the recent federal continuing resolution for the Four Lakes Task Force money that in our conversations is going directly towards reducing the cost of those special assessments. So
what's your understanding about how fast the lakes are going to come back and which one first? My understanding was that they're actually starting to put water in Sanford. Is that true?
That's I would defer to the experts on the Four Lakes Task Force on the mechanics and on the timing, but I know that we've, after a lot of delays and a lot of hang-ups, the progress is moving forward. I was just over at the dam site a couple weeks ago, and the progress is really humming. And the good news is we can expect by 2028 to have our lakes back.
All right, let's spend a little time talking about a subject which the word keeps coming up, and that's housing. Every time we talk about jobs, we talk about housing. Every time you name the topic, and housing seems to pop up because it's woefully in short supply. particularly affordable, low-cost housing. And how is the state addressing that?
Well, you have some competing proposals, Art, as wouldn't shock you in government these days. But what I keep coming back to, Art, is more than $90,000 to every single family and multifamily home build is regulatory cost, and that's zoning, that's permitting, that's all the different government regulations that are driving up costs on Michigan families and making it unaffordable to build housing in the state. And I think the average age of a first-time home buyer is now 40. And I mean, that's a lot of people in my generation right now, Art. And it's a huge stress on young people. It's a huge stress on seniors who are, trying to make sure they have a affordable roof over their heads in a new phase of life. So that's why House Republicans have worked on a package of legislation that is overhauling how our state does permitting, overhauling how our state does regulation to try and reduce some of that cost and to make it more affordable and easier for us to build low-cost housing in our state.
And is there support across the aisle?
Well, Art, I think there is some area for common ground. When we talk about differences in approach, what we saw in the Democrat trifecta of last term was just this idea of let's just keep throwing more state and taxpayer dollars at the problem. And it's the same thing like with education. The more money you throw at a problem, you're going to do it, and you do nothing to go at the cost side of the equation, you're creating no incentive to reduce costs. And all you see is magically you throw, all the state money at it. The expenses just go up the same amount as the state, as the taxpayer dollars that we're throwing at the problem. So that's not an actual solution to our housing issue. You have to go at it both at the cost and and at the demand side. And I think that is why the Republican approach is more respectful of the Michigan taxpayer dollars and will have more of an impact for lowering costs on Michigan families.
Yeah, I mean, education is a perfect example of throwing money doesn't fix the problem. We throw all that money at education and we keep throwing more and more money, and then the results go down. So what's wrong with that picture?
No, it's a huge issue, and I think what it really requires us to do is to take a step back and be holistic. And I don't think you have enough in government these days of people really being willing to dig in and go line by line, whether it's on a state budget or how we approach important things like reading or housing, and say, all right, clearly what we've been doing hasn't been working, and the solution can't just be more money.
Oh, I agree with that. Hang on. I know you can only hang around for one more quick segment, but we'll come back with State Representative Bill G. Schuette right after these notes.
It's time to put your acting...
What went into that decision?
Yeah, Art, and we had a long conversation about this earlier about the different dynamics at play. And at the end of the day, public service, Art, is about just that, service. It's about making an impact in your community, and it's about working every day to make your home, your state, your nation a better place. And it's not about just jumping for the next job opportunity or trying to, climb a ladder or get a better title. So I've always approached public service in that way. And I tell you what, with the way the governor played politics in this special election, depriving the, more than 250,000 people in Midland Bay and Saginaw of having a voice in the state Senate for more than 500 days, I didn't think it was the right decision with that public service mindset to then take away the voice in the state house for 90,000 people in Midland. So it was a tough decision, Art, and it's one that I thought a lot about, prayed a lot about. But at the end of the day, you have to do what you think is best for the community. It can't be about, trying to just jump for the first, opportunity that pops up.
Let me ask, this is sort of a personal thing, but let me ask this anyway,
Mm-hmm.
Bill. You grew up in a home where your dad was involved both on the local, the state, and the national level as a congressman. Had always been in public service. What did you take away from your dad? What did you learn about life from your father?
Art, I would say it's just that about public service. And you point to my father, and I'm so proud of his record of giving to our community, to our state, to our nation.
And still does.
I think about my grandfather. Yeah, and he still does. You're absolutely right. But I think of my grandfather, as well, who was a World War II POW who, his plane went down over Vicenza, Italy on Christmas Day during World War II, and he had to persevere and endure through a horrors of a Nazi POW camp, came out on the other side and built his family in America. And after the war was over, and that's the American dream, and it's made possible because of brave men like my grandfather. And it's on our generation, it's on my generation to work and make sure that it's still an opportunity for generations to come.
Well, Bill, listen, I know you have things to do today, so I'm going to let you go, but we'll chat again in the near future. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you so much, Art. Have a good one, okay?
Always a pleasure, my friend. Thanks. Bye-bye now.
Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving. Yeah,
you too. State Representative Bill G. Schuette. Open phones for the remainder of the hour, 989-752-6111. And we're going to go to one of those right now. We have Maria in Saginaw. Maria, good morning to you.
Hi, Mr. Lewis. Thank you for taking my call.
Yep.
Your guests are always so interesting. And I was wondering, Mr. Schuette was talking about the dams, but when the dams broke, wasn't it owned by a company that went bankrupt?
Yes.
And that's why the residents on these lakes had to pay the cost of fixing these dams?
Well, it's not why it's not so much why the residents had to pay, but somebody had to pay because he had he had very little funds. I mean, his bankruptcy took him out of the picture. He really didn't have much to do anyway. I mean, if he had the money, he would have fixed the dams in the first place, and he didn't. But we, the people, not just the homeowners on the lake, they got to pay an extra share, but we, the people, are paying for it. It'll all come out of our pocket one way or another.
Well, if the dams get repaired, will there be a warranty or an overseer of who's running these dams so this doesn't happen again for the people?
The answer is yes, but here's my but. Anytime we talk about government and overseeing, becomes an iffy proposition. Now, if the Four Lakes Task Force retains operational ownership, I would have less concerns because they are doing a very good job of rebuilding those dams. And I would hope that the task force remains in place as an overseer and a buffer between the legislature and the state and the property owners in the lakes. So I'm hopeful that Four Lakes Task Force will continue on as the guiding light, if you will, to keep those dams in good operation. They're doing a very good job rebuilding them.
Okay, but will there be any recourse for the residents who have to pay to fix these dams? Because
No.
the person that had the dams couldn't even
there's
take
been
care of them because he went bankrupt?
No, there's no recourse. He hasn't got any money. The bottom line is the recourse was we're going to pay for it. And the dam property owners, those that had lake property that are now going to pay an assessment, will pay even more than you and I will pay. We pay through our taxes. They're going to pay through additional taxes. I've said in the beginning I thought that's like hitting them when they're down. I wasn't in favor of it, but somebody has to pay for it, and they ended up. Now, there's been, as Bill Schuette just told us, Bill G. Schuette told us, the $9.8 million has come into play, which will help reduce that assessment to a degree. And hopefully down the road there might be more money to reduce that assessment. But at least, from an economic standpoint, those lakes need to come back because they were huge dollar generators from tourism. And it'll be next year, 2026, where we probably will have Sanford back. And then Wixom should follow.
Okay, but the people that are paying for this dam, the landowners, can they be
Everybody's paying
owners
for it.
of the dam itself?
No.
So they can oversee what's happening?
No, we all do that through our taxes. And they can, they can demand answers. I mean, and they can hold Four Lakes, for example, to task for what's happening and get answers from Four Lakes. But Four Lakes has been, so far, a positive influence. They're doing a very good job rebuilding the dams. And we just have to wait and see what happens down the road. Nobody knows. Let's get them back up and running, and then we'll worry about the nitty-gritty.
Yeah, maybe if they could make money from the lakes coming back, from the tourists that go to the campgrounds and everything, maybe the landowners who put all that money into rebuilding these lakes could get some rebate on their taxes or something.
Well, that comes through the tax dollars. The appropriation that came out of the state budget of $9.8 million obviously will go toward that goal. So it's going to be incremental. It's not going to happen overnight. Maria, appreciate the call, dear.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Sir.
Bye-bye now.
Bye.
And let's talk to Dave in Bay City. Dave, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Art. I'm going to pull over here so I can get off my Bluetooth. Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, got you
Is
fine.
that better?
Yep, you're good.
Oh, good. We want to stay legal and all that good stuff, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, yes, indeed. So, hey, I am so glad you had Representative Schuette on. I wish, and I just caught him at the very end. I wish I had known he was going to be on. I don't know how much you talked about his resume or if you talked about it at all, but, when you see a familiar name taking office, a lot of times it kind of becomes like, oh, yeah, he's riding on the coattails of whoever. And Representative Schuette is not that. He's not just riding on it.
Nope.
Not at all. This is a man of... I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Well, you were probably going to say what I was going to say, that he was involved with national intelligence, correct?
Yep. He was.
Yes. And so, and one of the things that he's done, which is hugely important, and it has yet to clear the Senate, is the Foreign Influence Protection Plan. Are you familiar with that, Art?
I've heard about it.
Oh, it's big. I mean, it's so big. Dealing with the Chinese influence in Michigan deals with CHICOMs, deals with the foreign espionage, Chinese espionage that's gone on in our state. Students, quote unquote, bringing in agro-terrorism.
Well, yeah, we had that recently. We found that out with University of Michigan.
Fusarium head blight and roundworms, and good grief. So again, I just, it's important that people know who these people are, and he's a young man with substance and a great future.
Of course, also understand, Dave, there are already laws on the books, and it's sometimes a matter of catching them and then enforcing. But if we're going to have an act, fine, we can have another act. But there are already laws on the books. That's how these viruses were caught. These living cells they brought in. So I mean, it's not like we're not protected. But the question is, how do you find out, and who's doing the investigating, and all of that?
Right, and who's acting upon it?
Yeah.
And this.
But apparently we have,
else.
so that's good.
There we go.
All right.
Yes.
Have a good one, my friend. We'll talk to you. Take care. Bye-bye.
You bet.
All right, we'll be back. Ed and Chuck, hang on. We'll get to you when we return. Krizak's House Family Restaurant. Best place to go for your authentic home-cooked foods with a European flair at reasonable prices. Now's the time to think about getting together with friends and family for lunch or dinner, as well as events coming up soon. Graduations, confirmations, weddings, showers, anniversaries. Krizak's has an economical way for you to supply the food. You can order what you want in Polish and American foods, then just pick it up at the restaurant, ready to go. Better yet, have your celebration right there at the restaurant. And don't forget, at a moment's notice, Krizak's can help. Call them at 989-894-5531. Krizak's House Family Restaurant, corner of Cass and Michigan on Bay City's South Side.
It's a joy to watch your kids grow.
All right, we're back here on the Art Lewis Show. More calls waiting for us. Ed is in St. Charles. Ed, good morning to you.
Yes, good morning, Art. It's a pleasure to talk to you, and thank you for taking my call.
You're welcome. Thanks for calling.
Yes, we farm in the flood areas in the Shiawassee Flats, and the day that those dams broke, and I just want to talk about the dams and what it means. I know it's a great disaster for many people, and it was for the farm people, too, that farm in those low areas. And the day that those dams broke, we had 600 acres go underwater. And we got crop insurance didn't reimburse us because they do an average, not just on the acres. They do an average of all your farm. So you don't get a lot back from crop insurance. So it was a lot.
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
And a lot of people don't understand that. But
I didn't.
When you farm, you understand it.
Yeah,
Yes.
you have to.
Right. And the other thing that I, since we'd been farming in those areas for many, many years, I'd been watching the water levels in Midland. And where the sand, the Tippity Wash goes, it's really important for us to know where that water level is. And so I was watching. In fact, I was watching the day that the dams broke. And the problem is, the Corps of Engineers tell them when to open the dams and how much to open them, so that let out the water. And
are they the only ones, or are there other factors? Because my understanding is that there wasn't all just Corps. Well,
they're the ones that, from what I understand, the Corps of Engineers tell how much the dam owners how much to open up the dam, and when to open it. And the reason why I say that is because the day that those dams broke, the water didn't start coming down into Midland until the rain started. And that's the problem. You can't wait that when you have a big rain, you got to let the water out sooner. And they knew the big rain was coming. And so what happens is that what they're trying to do is maintain water levels in those lakes. And I understand that. But when you have a big rain event and you wait to the last moment, you can't get rid of all the water that comes down when you got an 8 to a 10-inch rain.
Well, they never could. Every spring, I live along the Tittabawassee River. I'm on the high side of River Road, but I live along the river. And every year in the spring,
you see it every year.
It flooded, and high enough that it comes up off the farm fields and flooded over the road in front of my house. When the dams broke, I had 8 feet of water over the road. It wasn't, and I'm up, my property's probably up 10, 12 feet, so it never got up to my house, but it was high. No way I could get out of my driveway. I didn't have one. But it's happened every year. Now, I am hopeful with the talk of flood resiliency in Midland and the reduction plan that they're working on, that eventually, and I say eventually because it's not going to happen tomorrow, that we won't see that flooding, that they will have a way of diverting and holding some of that water so it doesn't come down and flood everything out along the Tittabawassee. You got my fingers crossed.
That would be great.
Yeah, I got my fingers crossed because it would help you too.
Mm-hmm. It absolutely would help us. And but I also been living along rivers for a long time, and in fact, my whole life. And I know the power of the rivers.
Oh, absolutely.
You get out of their way, boy. You get out of their way because they're coming.
Especially when there's flooding. No two ways about it.
No two ways about it. But my point is that they wait too late to let the waters out. That's my view.
All right.
They wait too long to let the water out, and there's no way they can stop that 8 to 10 inch rain. It's going to go over.
Yeah.
So,
all right, Chuck, good enough.
thank you very much.
You bet.
Yeah.
Thanks for calling. Bye-bye now. Thanks, Ed.
Bye
Bye-bye.
now.
Here is Chuck in Bridgeport. Chuck, good morning.
Good morning, Art. How you doing? I
Doing
love
well.
your program. You're
Thanks.
doing a great job.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. My comments are one, the shutdown, the government shutdown.
Mm-hmm.
What happens to all that money that's sitting in and collecting interest? People don't realize money is interest.
Well,
also.
yeah, but it's a drop in the bucket compared to the debt and the deficit.
Right,
And
I
that money
realize
and that money has to be dispersed once it's over.
Right.
So,
I realize that.
But the interest they get for it relative to the enormity of the budget and the debt is pennies on the dollar. And now every nickel helps. Don't get me wrong. Every nickel helps. But if it goes to mitigate some expense in the huge budget, you'll never know it. But it's there.
My other concern is AI. What is government really doing to legislate or to kind of control the AI situation as far as job markets?
I think they're
the
talking.
influence of the internet with your social media.
I think
and
they're
all
doing what they do so well. Talk up a good talk.
that. Nothing.
So nothing. I had to buy a new laptop last week, and on my laptop, it's got a Microsoft thing in it called Copilot Plus PC. It has an AI button that I can push to have AI help me on anything, and it's built into the machine. So we're just seeing the beginnings of all of this. I mean, I don't think anybody fully understands what AI is going to mean to the future and how impactful it's going to be.
You.
Yeah, it's going to be serious impact. But just like social media, we need to learn how to use it. We haven't done a very good job learning how to use social media. We've learned how to use it, but in a negative way. I think we're going to have to really take a serious look at AI and figure out how it's going to benefit us, how we want to use it, what the purposes are going to be. I mean, I've heard all kinds of projections about 10 years down the road and what it means to industry and employment and all of those things. But I don't think anybody really knows right now because it's in its infancy. We look at it
5 years down the road.
It may be. I mean, nobody knows for sure. Could be tomorrow.
Yeah,
it really nobody knows.
It's growing on an exponential rate.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And you hear the stories about all these AI data centers wanting to be built.
Right.
It's going to be
sucking up a lot of power.
Oh, absolutely. Will it make life better for us? Time will tell.
You just had the guy on there with the coal, and I listened to that, and that doesn't sound too promising either. But the electricity that it takes to run them data centers is phenomenal.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. I got to run. Good day. Chuck, you too. Thanks for calling. Bye-bye now.
Bye.
Joe, hang on, and we'll get to you right after these notes.
Before the turkey hits the
Joe in St. Charles. Joe, good morning.
Hey, how you doing, Art?
Good.
Hey, I guess I'm calling more to rant. I'm a farmer here in St. Charles Township, and talking about those floods when that flood happened, and anyhow, we lost 900 acres of crops along that, and we were never financially compensated for that, and there was never no way to get any compensation for that. And so anyway, I always thought those dams were put originally in for flood control and to make electricity. Well, now they're a recreational, and which is fine because I have lots of friends that have cabins on those